Well, we've made a lot of changes, I think, on the business side. Over the last 9 months, we went out and hired a 30-person sales and service team that wasn't there. The school made
non-trivial, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, let's hire a 30-person marketing unit.
Yeah, you know, we've merged our marketing department with that of the university to have far greater resources on a go-forth basis. We're much more integrated with the foundation and the Alumni Association than we were 9 months ago. So we're going to be an evolving enterprise. We'll continue to look at that in terms of what it means for the administration and coaching and support of the student athletes as we go forward. You know, we have a great student services operation that Gene runs. You know, you look at what we do academically, we're right there with the best in the Pac-12. We're right there with the best in the nation. Dr. Crow changed the model a good bit when we brought in Steve Webb to run compliance. You know, we're gonna be compliant. And so it's a different model than you might find at a lot of other universities. So as we take time and evaluate what we're doing on the sports side, you know, we can make the same kind of potential changes. You know, we brought Tim here to work with Todd Graham. You know, how in the world I hired an Aggie to come in here and do this, I don't know. But you know, he's doing a great job for us, sort of revamping the operations of the football side. And so we're going to continue to push those and be what ASU is, which is innovative, leveraging off of our local place, having those kind of relationships lead to success that you otherwise might not see at a different place that isn't the New American University.
So the reason I gave the income target or the revenue target is that we still have sports that are competing without even all of the coaching positions that were authorized to fill by the NCAA rules filled. We have serious resource limits, serious resource constraints. We'd like at some point, once we get certain sports to the level of performance and competitiveness where they're vying for conference championships every season, we'd like to start other sports. We think this is a fantastic model for projecting Arizona and projecting ASU, but we don't have a revenue position to be able to do that at the moment. And so would there be additions to the athletics program? The answer is yes, when we are financially successful enough to be able to do that.
Dr. Crow, can you characterize again Lisa's exit? Trying to define it. Was it mutually agreed upon? Was it encouraged?
Well, Lisa and I have a close relationship. We've worked very closely for 7 years together. I hired Lisa from USC, where she'd been a very successful associate athletic director, and prior to that, she was one of the most successful coaches in women's volleyball in NCAA. So she brought the teacher spirit and the coaching spirit. And so what's fair to say is that both Lisa and I know this is a tough assignment. And both Lisa and I know that we've run this path about as hard as we can run it. And so she's going to move on to something else. And I'm going to be very supportive and am very supportive in her doing that. And so it's that nature of a relationship. And we're moving forward with Steve. She's a strong supporter of Steve and believes that Steve can get this assignment done.
So essentially it was a mutual decision to part ways?
Well, I would say yes, there's always the timing, but at the end of the day, the only person responsible for who sits in the athletic director's position on any given day of the week is me. And so it ultimately is my decision.
So why do you think Mr. Patterson will do a better job than Lisa did?
I believe that it goes to the concept of not only achievement. Lisa achieved a lot, but also capital that you have to spend. So in the job that I have so much political capital to spend to advance the university. And Lisa and I agreed that her political capital relative to the advancement of this role had been spent. And so Steve starts fresh, and he has new political capital and new angles, new views, new ways of making things happen. So that's my reason.
Steve, your assessment of the upper tier sports that you had a chance to evaluate, has the upper tier that drives the funds of the athletic department underperformed?
Have the teams underperformed or the business side? Yes. Yes. I mean, quite frankly, we had very high expectations of the football team going into this year, and they weren't realized. And that was really a plan that was put in place long before I got here. We've got to be competing for Pac-12 championships every year. We've got to be a top 25 ranked team. We've got to be winning the South. And, we went through a process over the last 6 weeks of meeting with every football, basketball, baseball, softball coach, all of our coaches that we got. And we laid out certain metrics for what the expectations of were performance. And we sat down with Coach Graham, for example, and said, this is the level of expectations. And he says, geez, if I don't hit that, you better fire me. That's the kind of commitment we want to see. And we have the resources, we have the community, we have a great campus, great place to come play, come get an education. I mean, I wake up every day and go, this is a great canvas to paint on. If you can't figure out how to come here and be successful, it's not ASU's fault. It's the person that's coming here. It's the person that's coaching. If you can't convince the best athletes to come and play here with the business school that we've got, with the communication school that we've got, with the Barrett Honors College that we've got, with the great weather, with a great city, there's something wrong. We ought to be competitive every single week, day in and day out, with every single sport.
It was our expectation that we would be playing in the football championship game for the Pac-12 conference for the first time. That was our expectation. That expectation was not realized for a number of complex reasons, and we have made adjustments so that we can reset that expectation, because that is our expectation.
Dr. Crow, there will be some who say that when Patterson was hired 9 months ago, that the day was inevitable. I think that was partly fueled also by his involvement in the hiring of Grant. Had you, at any point through that process, lose confidence in Lisa?
Lose confidence in Lisa? No. No. Lisa is a consummate athletic executive, a fantastically committed person to the spirit of college athletics. Lose confidence? No. But I will say that when I was a high school heavyweight wrestler, I didn't win every match. My coach had confidence in me, but I didn't win every match.
Was Patterson's hire 9 months ago, was this day inevitable?
No, not inevitable. No.
I didn't come here with the charge to take this job. And quite
That isn't what we
frankly,
talked about.
It wasn't what we talked about at all. And to talk about the football coaching search, I mean, the reality is that I have certain skill sets, some things I'm better at than Lisa's better at. There's plenty of things she's better at than I am. And she asked me for help. And I thought the eventual outcome was a great success, and it was good teamwork.
Michael, the public fallout from this is somewhat predictable. Lisa will be blamed for a lot of things, some of them fair, some of them not. Did she face specific challenges simply from the fact that she was a woman in this position?
I think that the question of Lisa's gender did prove to be challenging with some folks that she was dealing with. Yes, absolutely. Was it a determining factor? No. But was it a factor in terms of that? Is this a male-dominated role? The answer is yes. Is it a male-dominated function? Yes. But to her credit, right at it, right in the thick of it, pushing, never giving up, always advancing, even against some bias that still sits out there.
Steve Patterson will be available for one-on-ones afterwards if anyone wants him to come on up.
Thanks.
Laundry list of things why, come here, why student athletes should come here. Yet there's been huge criticisms for why ASU cannot get that done. What do you say to that, and how do you plan to change it?
I think we have to do a better job of telling our story. I think we have to hold people accountable that are in the positions to recruit those athletes to come here. I think we have to hold people accountable that work with those student athletes on a daily basis. I think we've had tremendous success when it comes to things like bringing in students and helping them graduate and change their lives and make something dramatic happen for them and their families. I don't accept that we can't compete. I'll never accept that. I don't accept that because it's an overcrowded marketplace that we can't be relevant in this marketplace. So I look to the coaching staff and the administrators to make sure that that job gets done on a daily basis. That's their charge.
One thing that I'd add to that relative to, I think, an arrow that Steve has in his quiver now that to a lesser extent, previous ASU athletic directors had a smaller arrow, is that the university's academic reputation has evolved very, very rapidly, now allowing us to recruit athletes from the full spectrum of potential athletes, whereas it's not always been the case that we've had the opportunity to look at every athlete, because if an athlete got an offer at Stanford, if they got an offer somewhere else, their parents would usually guide them in that direction. And now we're trying to win, and are going to win, and are winning those head-to-heads. So we are unencumbered, whereas in the past perhaps we were to some extent encumbered. So.
Thanks, folks.